Hey guys, so welcome to lesson 7, and as you can see today we are talking about calorie density. So calorie density is basically the amount of calories per gram of food. Some food contains lots of calories for a very small quantity, so this would mean that they have lots of calories per gram. An example, as you can see here, is on the right hand side is Reese's chocolate pieces, which I'm sure some of you are familiar with. They have about 5 calories per gram, which means in 100 grams, there's about 500 calories. Then on the other hand, like you can see here on my screen, some foods contain very few calories. An example here is the apple. They have just half a calorie per gram, so 100 grams gives you just 52 calories. So here, when you compare the two, you can see that Reese's chocolate contains 10 times the amount of calories in the same amount of food. So when your goal is fat loss, it can be useful to focus on eating foods that provide a lot of food in terms of quantity for very few calories, because this is going to leave you feeling more satisfied for longer as the volume of food you've eaten is high, even though the calorie content is low. So in this example, you'd have to eat 1 kilogram of apples, which is about 10 apples, to get the same amount of calories as you would from just 100 grams of Reese's chocolate pieces. So I'm sure you can understand how eating 10 apples is going to leave you feeling more full for longer and potentially much more satisfied than eating just 100 grams of sugary chocolate. It's also going to make it easier to stick to your daily nutrition targets and obviously to help you reach your goals. However, if you're trying to gain muscle, the opposite of this can be true. So eating foods that contain lots of calories and small amounts of food can be useful for hitting higher daily calorie targets without feeling stuffed or bloated. So moving forward, let's have a look at how calorie density can actually affect a meal. We're going to look at a healthy breakfast. So as you can see here on the left-hand side, we've got some yogurt, we've got some honey, some blueberries, and then like a naked greens drink, which comes to about 619 calories. Now, if we were to swap the yogurt for a 0% yogurt, so it's a slightly lower calorie, that would be a good start. And if we took out the honey, but kept the blueberries, and then we swapped that naked greens drink for a branded greens powder instead. So what we've done here is swap regular yogurt for 0% yogurt, so it's a lower calorie option. We've taken the honey out and we've kept the blueberries in there just the same. And then we swapped what is quite a high calorie juice greens drink for a lower calorie option greens powder. Then that means there's now a 403 calorie difference between these breakfasts. That's how calorie density can affect your calorie intake. These are pretty much the same breakfast in terms of the amount of food, but the calorie difference is massive. So with this breakfast example, you can see how we consumed a similar amount of food, but the second option has taken up less of your daily calorie budget of your daily calorie target. So that's why it's really important to look at calorie density. So if your goal is fat loss, like I mentioned earlier, it's good to focus on calorie-sparse foods. And again, these are foods that have a lower number of calories per gram, because this is going to allow you to eat more while keeping your calorie consumption fairly low. If muscle gain is your goal, it can be useful to focus on foods that are calorie dense. These are foods that have more or a higher number of calories per gram. This means if you have a high calorie target that sometimes might be difficult to reach, therefore it's going to make it easier to help you reach this target without feeling stuffed and bloated and like you're eating all the time. So there you can really see the importance of not only calories, but calorie densities. Calorie density. It's always useful to check how much food you're getting for the amount of calories you're about to consume, and this can have a massive impact on whether or not you succeed or not.